Hey, this is Mike from Minimal 3DP, and today I'm revisiting BrickLayers. So let's go ahead and get started. Several weeks ago, I did a video covering BrickLayers, and I also implemented and demonstrated how I created, as part of my website, an implementation via the web of the bricklayer effect. And the idea being that you didn't need to install Python or configure it on your machine. It was as simple as just uploading your G code, processing, and then downloading. One of the things I mentioned in the video was there was two implementations I was able to find of this. The Tenager Technologies implementation, and they have some various settings in here. The script is actually fairly small, and they also have some other different scripts you can use and some other changes. This is what my website was based off of. Also in my video, I mentioned the GeekDetour implementation of BrickLayers. And I think I mentioned that this was a fork of the Tenager Technologies repo. And in fact, the developer contacted me. It is not a fork. This is a separate and independent implementation. And if you look at this, this script is actually much more comprehensive than the Tenager Technologies. At least has a lot more settings and different things you can do with it. And again, it's a much longer and more hefty implementation. In fact, when I tried to implement this on my website, I wasn't able to get streaming to work. I'm actually having to run the script on the server side and then basically allow you to download the resultant G code. Now, there's a couple different things to point out with this implementation. One, the defaults, particularly the extrusion multiplier, is significantly smaller than Tenager Technologies. It's also starting at level 3 as opposed to layer 1 or layer 0 with Tenagers. There's also some information here. You want to definitely set your slicer to classic and just do inner and outer mode rather than inner, outer, inner, which is what I do. Now, one of the things you'll notice if you look through here is this implementation does have some issues with stringing. Now, I've noticed stringing a little bit with Tenagers. This one, I see it a little bit more, although I feel like the model as a whole tends to look better. So let's take a look at the slicer really quickly, and then we'll switch over and take a look at what I've implemented on my website. Now, as you might remember, to run the post-processing script in Orca Slicer, you need to download the script, have Python execute the script, and then here are the defaults. So that's in my post-processing script under Other. And basically, you slice the model, and then these scripts are run when either you send it to the printer or you download the code. So either way, it'll go ahead and implement the script. Now for my website, let's switch over and take a look at that implementation. From my website, minimal3dp.com, you just go up under Tools and then BrickLayers. You'll get to the implementation. Now, as of right now, this looks very similar to the original implementation, which it pretty much is. I'm just going to select a file here. So let me navigate to my directory. So I have my G code, and this is G code with no BrickLayers implemented. I'm going to upload that. And then I have the Tenager Technologies architecture version. And then I can also select GeekDetour. And right now I'm using the defaults that are on the GitHub repo. So if you look here, you'll notice these defaults. I'm just using the same thing. And I'm just going to hit Apply BrickLayer Effect. Now this takes a minute for it to be processed. Once it's processed, I can just download it and then upload it to my printer and print. Now I've went ahead and created several models so we can take a look and just review what everything looks like. So with that being said, let me switch over to my desk and we'll take a look at some benchies. So here at my desk, I have several versions of the benchy. I have a version that's printed with just my regular settings, no BrickLayers, one that's printed with the GeekDetour version of BrickLayers that's using the post-processing script directly from OrcaSlicer. I have the Tenager Technologies version that's done via my website. And then lastly, the GeekDetour version that's done through the website as well. I'm just going to start off by taking a look at the benchy with the no BrickLayers. And you'll notice overall it looks pretty good. I'm looking at the surface of the body. There is a little bit of string in here. I probably need to do some tuning with retraction. I haven't done that in a while on this printer. I also haven't done much with Z-hop and some of the other settings that'll affect stringing. Now I am printing this on my Creality K2 Plus, just as an FYI. Now here is the GeekDetour version. I'm going to hold this a little closer. Maybe you can see the stringing. There is more stringing. Now that I'm sort of expected this based on the comments on the repo. And that's from the developer. He mentioned that there is issues with stringing. Now, my guess is if I tuned the printer, again, those retraction settings, as well as Z-hop, I probably could improve that stringing, and I need to look at that and see what I can do. Now, on the Tenager Technologies version, I think there's some slight issues with the body that I can see in here. And there is some stringing on this version as well. Not as much as the GeekDetour, but again, some stringing at least. And then lastly, here is the model that was basically, I uploaded the G code for this model and then processed it via the web and didn't need Python installed on my machine. I did everything via the browser. It applied the GeekDetour version of BrickLayers. Overall, I think this looks pretty good. The biggest issue is still the stringing. And again, that's probably something I can deal with via retraction as well as Z-hop. So again, pretty interesting stuff. On my website, you can use either version and be able to apply BrickLayers yourself. And depending on which implementation you like, you can try both. Now, I will point out that I did, and I forgot to mention this, that I did take the G code for the post-processing script that was done via OrcaSlicer. I took the G code that was done via the web. I ran it through and had AI review the code for each. The only differences was some comments as opposed to anything that had anything to do with the G code itself. So my implementation was clean and everything appeared to look good. I think the only other setting or only other difference you might see if you were to run it through AI is where the model starts or where the print starts when it comes to the script version versus the web version. But overall, the model's about the same. If I hold these up together, really the stringing is pretty much in the same places. It looks almost identical. The only way I could tell the difference is I put numbers on the bottom of these. So again, hopefully you find this helpful. Make sure if you get a chance, go ahead over to the repos, both the Tenager Technologies, and make sure to leave a star. And over on the GeekDetour version as well, make sure to star that repo. Hopefully you found this helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please post them below. I'll talk to you again soon. Thanks. Have a good day.